Hi, welcome, and I hope you're doing well. This video here I'll be doing a teardown on an Acer gaming laptop. This model here is Acer Nitro 5, and let me turn it around and show you the exact model is N20C1. So what I'll do is, in this video I'll explain to you step by step on how to take it apart, and during the video you get to see on how to do like the hard drive upgrade or maybe the RAM upgrade. If you have the fan is not spinning and you would like to change out the fan or clean the fan, this video would explain to you and show you how to do that. Alright, so I'm using a Phillips screwdriver. As you can see that I'm removing the screws already. So these screws are all Phillips screwdriver. These screws are all Phillips, and you just need a Phillips screwdriver to take it apart. Alright, so let's get going with it. So far I'm still removing the screws. All the screws are the same size, so there's not much worried about mix matching the screws. Alright, so I have all the screws removed. The next thing I'm trying to do is to pry open the back plate. Let me find a weak spot. I usually like to work in the corner, so this might be the weak spot here. Alright, so there you have it. The back plate would just pop right out. So once you remove all the screws, I was using a plastic prying tool to get underneath the cover, and once you pop it, you can remove the entire back plate. So once the back plate is removed, this is your entire computer here. So let me do a quick explanation. This is your both CPU fans, the left CPU fan and the right CPU fan. This entire here is your heatsink. Now this is your RAM slot. You have two RAM slot. Right now is only one RAM is installed, which is the 8 GB. To remove the RAM, what you want to do is you want to use two of your thumb and push the clipper on both sides. So push it away from each other. So once you push it away, oops, it pops right out. So yeah, once you push it away from each other, the clipper, right? Once you push it away, what happened is that the RAM would pop up right about a little bit like 45-degree angle. At this point here, you can just slide out the RAM without any problem. Now you have two RAM slot. Like I said, you can add 8 gigs of RAM here and a secondary 8 gigs, so you'll be having total of 16 gigabytes. I believe this laptop here can go up to 32 gigs of RAM, and you just have to change out the RAM. What I'll do is I will have the parts like the RAM, the hard drive, the battery listed in the description below. So if you're watching this video, click the description below. It will tells you where you can find the battery replacement, the RAM upgrade, or the hard drive upgrade. It will direct you to either eBay or Amazon. That's what I usually like to do my shopping with. Hopefully, you can buy those stuff on Amazon or eBay as well. Alright, so let's put the RAM back. It's very easy to install the RAM. Make sure you're in the right position here. Once you're in, and just press it down. Okay, and the clipper will just clip back onto the RAM. Now this is your battery. The battery here. Let me see. The battery is, the model here is AP18E8M. Okay. So to remove the battery, you actually need to have the screw to be removed as well. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So right here is the battery connector. The battery connector, what you want to do is just slide it down. I'm using my 2 index finger nail to hold on to this connector, and I slide it down to my body. So slide it down towards your body. Once that is open and disconnected, go ahead and remove the screws. There's one screw here on the top right, bottom left, and let me see. And that's how you get the battery out. Okay, so just only 2 screws, and once you remove it, the battery would just pop right up. This is the model, and that's how you find a replacement battery. Alright, the next step, what I'll be doing is, this is your CMOS battery. The CMOS battery, if you want to reset, you know, the BIOS or anything, you just have to disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery, again, I use 2 of my index fingernail and slide it down to my body. Slide it downwards, and that's how you disconnect the CMOS battery. At this point here, you see that this is an additional bay tray for your 2.5-inch hard drive. So in the box, if you have the box here still, right, in the box, you will able to see this connector right here. So this connector here is allow you to install additional SSD drive or additional hard drive for this purpose. And also it comes with the 4 screws here. So these are the 4 screws that you want to install on this tray here. So let me show it to you how to do that really quick. So first you need to remove the screws. So there are 4 screws holding onto this mounting bracket. Okay, and then there are 4 screws here in the back. So take it out. And what you want to do is you want to put the hard drive in like this. Okay, and then put that 4 screws on. Okay, and this is the SATA connector. So go ahead and take it out from the back, insert into the SSD, right? And then this is where you want to connect the hard drive to. So you can see that it says JHDD. Okay, so this is the hard drive connector. And this is how you install the hard drive. I believe you would have to insert it like this, slide it in, clip it on, and you should be all set. Of course, you want to make, you know, maybe get a tape or anything to tape onto the SATA cable. Alright, so let me go ahead and remove this. We are not going to do that for this video. This video here is about taking things apart, not putting things together. But I just wanted to show you that's how you do it to add additional hard drive if you need more capacity. Alright, so let me just put the screws away. Make sure I'm not mix match everything here because I need to put it back later together. Okay, so just bear with me for a few more seconds and I'm good. Alright. Okay, so far let's get back to the disassemble here, the teardown process. This is your M.2 NVMe drive. This one is the one that is holding on to all your operating system, your Windows, your data. Everything is stored in this M.2 hard drive. So if you want to increase the capacity, you can add like the 1 terabyte. But for mine, this is a 256 gigabytes. Okay, now if you want to add additional M.2, this is where you can do it. Alright, so this is the first one. You can add it up here, and then you can add additional M.2 on this side. Alright, there's additional slots for that. And the third one, you can do it on the 2.5 inch SSD. Now this is your Wi-Fi, and this Wi-Fi here, if you want to disconnect, I like to do a little marking. I'll put it on the white here and a little check here, so I know that the white cable for the Wi-Fi goes at the bottom, the black one goes on the top. Now I'm getting a plastic prying tool and just kind of lift up the connector. The connector is like a Lego. Once you have it in the right position, it snaps back on without any problem. So go ahead and remove your Wi-Fi card, and this itself has the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in all together. Okay. Now the next part is the speaker. So if you look at the bottom left corner, so this is your speaker. Again, I'm using two of my index to disconnect the speaker. This is just your left speaker, and if you want to find a replacement, just look for the numbers here. Okay, that's for your speaker. And here comes the right speaker. Same thing, to disconnect it, just slide down the connector. The speaker doesn't have any screws that holds onto it. It will just pop right out without any problem. Alright, so if you want to disconnect the keyboard, this is the keyboard lighting. This is your touchpad. There's a clipper. Just flip the clipper up and slide the cable out. For your keyboard, you see these two little black clip. It actually doesn't lift up. You need to slide it down, and it doesn't come out. It just slide out, but it doesn't get removed from the connector. So do not force it, push it all the way down. It just get loose and stop right there. Okay, that's when you I think, yep, that is when you yeah, try not to pull it too hard. I did pull too hard on my side, so the clipper kind of came off. I just push it back in. Now, like I said, this connector here doesn't come out. Okay, it's supposed to stay like this. Make sure you try not to pull too hard like what I did. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. I flip the clipper, remove this. This one here is the I/O board that transfer the USB signal, the headphones, everything over to the main logic board. Okay, this is the power connection between the two. So to disconnect it is pretty simple. You just slide the connector to your right, flip the clipper open, and slide that cable as well. And this is how you disconnect from this board over to the main logic board. Okay, let's slide it down a little bit further. We're going to talk about the CPU right now. Okay, so this is the CPU cable. To remove it, just go ahead and you know, slide this cable away from you. Slide it that direction. And let's try to remove the CPU fan. So I believe this is, again, there is a tape that tapes onto the heatsink, so you might want to remove the heatsink, the CPU fan all together in one piece. Okay, so let's work on the next CPU fan. So far there's only 2 screws on the right fan and 2 screws on the left fan. Alright, so let me disconnect the CPU connector, the CPU fan connector. I'm sliding it to my right. That's how I disconnect this. And let's go ahead and remove entire heatsink. So if you feel like your computer is overheating and you want to apply a new thermal paste to have a better cooling system, and this is the right time, what you need to do, you need to remove the heatsink screws, which I'm doing it right now. And then you can apply with the new thermal paste on it. So the graphics card and the CPU, they are sharing with the same heatsink. Alright, so far I have a good grip and I can slide out the entire heatsink. So let me see what is still holding it down. Okay, so I can see that the Wi-Fi and the LCD is still holding down the heatsink. So we need to disconnect the cable of the LCD. This is your LCD. There's no clipper or anything that holds onto it. It just pretty much slide in to secure the cable. So I'm gonna slide away from my body into that direction. Okay, so slide away from my body, and that's how I remove this LCD cable. And you pay attention to the top right here. You can see that the LCD goes in between the heatsink. Okay, make sure you do that on the reverse process later. Same thing on the left. This is your Wi-Fi, the black and white. You can see that they are in between the heatsink as well. So let's go ahead and keep yourself a little note. You have to do the reverse process later by doing that. Okay, I'm lifting it up. We can put the tape back on later. Alright, so I just removed the entire heatsink and all together with the CPU fan as well. Like I said, the CPU fan is kind of taped onto this heatsink here. Once you remove the tape, the CPU will just come right out without any problem by itself. Okay, now if you want to do the CPU fan replacement, go ahead and look up the product number here. This is the product number for your heatsink, and this is the CPU fan on the right side of it. Now if you flip it around, you can see that there are some thermal paste and thermal pad applied onto this heatsink. So this is what we call the thermal pad. Okay, and this is the thermal paste on it. So you can see that the little pinkish, those pads are all dried up and it's kind of stick onto the heatsink. You can get the alcohol wipes, wipe it down, and then apply a new thermal paste on it. Yeah, that's how you're gonna get the a better cooling system once you apply a new thermal paste. Alright, so far you can see that the screen here has the 40-pin connector, and on the left here is your Wi-Fi, and this is your entire motherboard, right? So the motherboard is pretty much ready to be removed. All you need to do is remove the screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and see where else is connected still. There's 1 screw here on the bottom right, 5 screws, and here comes the entire motherboard. Alright, if you want to find a replacement on the motherboard, go look it up here on that little sticker, or maybe you just want to peel this thing off. There should be another number at the bottom. Oops. Alright, so there you have it. If you want to do the motherboard replacement, the model here would be the FH51M or this LA-J871P, right? It's a 2020 June 4th. This is when the motherboard is made, or the product number for the motherboard replacement. So this is how the motherboard looks like, and this is the back of it. Okay, now when it comes to the keyboard, right? So let's say if you spill some liquid onto the keyboard and you want to do a replacement on it. I'm looking at the keyboard here. I don't think there's a way to replace the keyboard, to be honest with you. Okay, because the way they make the keyboard is a punch down manufacturer built in, right? You can see that the keyboard there's no way to replace it. So you would have to replace the entire bottom part here, which means you remove the screws on the hinge, right? And then this entire thing has to be replaced in all one big piece together. This entire thing has to be replaced if you have a bad keyboard. Just so you know, that's how they make it nowadays, so you have to replace entirely. Alright, so if you find this video is helpful, and if you like the video, please, I ask a favor back, is to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. That helps me to grow the channel, keep me motivated, and make more of this video for you in the near future. Alright, I think this is it, and I think that if you have the screen that you need to replace, I have a different video, not in this video, but I have a different video that I make specifically for the screen replacement. You can go check that out. Go to my channel and click on it, and I hope that this video helps you. Until next time, please take care and good luck with your repair.